You know that feeling when you witness what can only be described as a glitch in the matrix, like the universe just completely forgot its own operating manual for a second? Well, welcome to This Explainer. Today we're looking at hard scientific facts that feel exactly like those glitches. We're diving into phenomena where the world straight up ignores its own rules. From animals that completely rewrite biology to deep sea structures that literally shouldn't be there. We're exploring anomalies that defy mainstream science. Let's get into it. Quick look at our roadmap for today. We're going to cover nature's rule breakers, bizarre evolutionary anomalies, deep sea enigmas, out-of-place artifacts, hoaxes, and natural illusions, and finally, the expanding unknown. All right, Section 1, Nature's Rule Breakers, Life Finding Impossible Ways. Let's look at how biology completely disregards the standard rules of survival. So, to really understand what I mean here, look at this number, 58%. Down in a flooded cavern in Nevada, which, by the way, is roughly the size of a parking space, lives the devil's hole pupfish. These guys have been completely isolated from all other life for up to 20,000 years. Because their entire world is just 3 by 6 meters, a recent genetic study found their genomes are, on average, 58% identical. Now, according to every standard model of population genetics we have, a species this impossibly inbred should have collapsed from genetic defects a long, long time ago. But guess what? They're still reproducing, they're still alive and kicking, and science honestly doesn't have a clear explanation for how. Moving on to Section 2, bizarre evolutionary anomalies, creatures that shouldn't be here. Let's see how this builds new to even stranger biological mashups. I mean, when you really look at it, the platypus reads like a literal checklist of evolutionary contradictions that somehow works perfectly. It's a mammal, right? But it lays eggs. Oh, and the males have these venomous spurs that produce a cocktail of proteins found pretty much nowhere else in the mammalian world. Even stranger, it has 10 sex chromosomes instead of the standard 2. 10! And when it hunts, it completely closes its eyes, ears, and nose, relying totally on electroreception to sense the tiny electrical fields of muscle contractions in the riverbed. Honestly, if you submitted this animal as a design concept, it'd get rejected for being way too unrealistic. And then we have the axolotl. Through this extreme biological quirk called neoteny, the axolotl basically hits the pause button on its own development. It retains its juvenile features, like those cool feathery external gills and a fully aquatic lifestyle for its entire life. But the real mindbender here is its extreme regenerative power. An axolotl can regrow a fully functional limb in just weeks, and it can do this repeatedly throughout its life. Scientists are actually actively studying them right now to try and figure out why we humans lack this incredible superpower. Section 3, Deep Sea Enigmas, Mysteries in the Crushing Darkness. Leaving the shallows behind, we're descending into the abyssal zones, where crushing pressures rewrite reality entirely. The sheer variety of unexplained phenomena hiding in the dark down there is absolutely staggering. I mean, look at this. We have everything from the Baltic Sea anomaly, which is this 60-meter circular object sitting 90 meters down that looks, well, suspiciously like the Millennium Falcon, to the Mariana Trench sounds at merely 11,000 meters deep. Back in 2014, scientists actually recorded a bizarre, metallic-sounding call echoing from the abyss. And because sound travels about 4 times faster in water, these mysterious acoustic blasts can travel thousands of miles without losing their intensity. But the biology down there is just as baffling. Enter the concept of deep-sea gigantism. Extreme conditions like freezing cold temperatures and immense pressure actually slow down a creature's metabolism and increase their cellular lifespan. This creates, frankly, terrifying realities like the giant isopod. Because their metabolism is so impossibly slow, get this. One famous specimen kept in a Japanese aquarium actually survived for 5 entire years without eating a single meal. 5 years! But hey, it's not just the giants making waves down there. Take the pistol shrimp, which is only a few centimeters long. When it snaps its claw, it shoots a jet of water at 100 kilometers per hour, creating a bubble that collapses instantly. That collapse generates a shockwave hitting 218 decibels. For context, that is louder than a gunshot. It also creates brief temperatures around 4,700 degrees Celsius, which rivals the surface of our sun. A creature this tiny generating one of the most extreme physical events in the animal kingdom? Absolutely mind-blowing. So, beyond bizarre biology and extreme physics, what happens when we find things at the bottom of the ocean or buried deep in rock that look entirely man-made? Are we looking at the ruins of ancient human civilizations, or is nature simply playing tricks on us? That brings us to Section 4, Out-of-Place Artifacts,
history's chronological glitches. This is a fascinating area of study known as OO parts.
Essentially, OO parts are artifacts that seem way, way too advanced for the era they were supposedly created in. They force us to completely rethink what our ancestors were actually capable of, and we find them in contexts where, at least according to our mainstream historical timelines, they simply should not exist. The ultimate example of this was discovered by sponge divers back in 1901 off the coast of a Greek island. This corroded lump of bronze was pulled from a Roman-era shipwreck, and it actually took decades for researchers to realize what they were even looking at. Dating back to around 100 BCE, this is the Antikythera mechanism. It's essentially an ancient Greek mechanical computer containing at least 30 interlocking bronze gears. And it was capable of predicting solar and lunar eclipses, tracking the 5 known planets, and even calculating the dates of the ancient Olympic Games. To really put this into perspective, take a look at this massive technology gap. The mechanism was created in 100 BCE. But humanity didn't reproduce anything remotely approaching this level of mechanical complexity until the 14th century. That's a gap of well over 1,000 years before similar mechanical astronomical clocks finally appeared in medieval Europe. There's this quote about it that really hits hard. Its sophistication suggests that it was not the first of its kind, but one of a sequence. This creates such a lingering sense of mystery. Like, if this wasn't just a one-off prototype, what other astonishing technologies existed in the ancient world that were simply lost to time? It definitely proves ancient technology was far more advanced than our standard history books suggest. All right, Section 5, hoaxes and natural illusions when we want to believe. Now, as researchers, we have to be careful. Not every anomaly is the real deal. Sometimes our pattern-seeking brains, or just outright tricksters, lead us totally astray. For example, take the Yonaguni monuments off the coast of Japan. It's a massive underwater structure with these flat terraces and incredibly straight edges, spanning 160 feet. Now, on one hand, marine geologists like Dr. Masaki Kimura passionately argue that it's the ruins of a lost Pacific civilization known as Mu, built over 10,000 years ago. On the other hand, traditional geologists claim the highly active tectonic plates in the region naturally split the local sandstone along perfectly straight faults. We really have to impartially weigh the theories of lost civilizations against the immense geometric power of natural tectonic shifting. And sometimes, let's face it, humans are just lying. We've seen plenty of debunked anomalies over the years. Babylonokia, that was a clay tablet shaped like a cell phone that fringe theorists claimed was an 800-year-old artifact. Yeah, it was actually an artwork created in 2012. Then there's the Piltdown Man, an elaborate hoax of a missing link hominid skull that successfully fooled people for 41 years. And the Ica stones, depicting ancient Incas hunting dinosaurs, were eventually revealed to be modern forgeries carved by a local farmer. Luckily, the scientific method eventually weeds out the wishful thinking and intentional forgeries. Which brings us to our final part. Section 6, the expanding unknown. Reality ignores the rules. Stripping away the hoaxes and the natural illusions, we finally arrive at the true anomalies. And these aren't simple glitches. These are massive, glaring holes in our understanding of the universe and physics itself. Just look at this number, 10 to the power of 120. When physicists calculate the vacuum energy of empty space using quantum mechanics, and then compare it to how fast the universe is actually observed to be expanding, the two values differ by this massive factor. This staggering discrepancy regarding the cosmological constant is literally the biggest gap between a theoretical physics prediction and an observed measurement in the entire history of science. If the math was completely right, the universe would have expanded so violently that no stars or planets could have ever formed. Yet, here we are. And out in that very universe, we find planets like LTT 9779b. This is a gas giant 5 times larger than Earth, and it orbits its stars so closely that a single year lasts just 19 hours. Every single model of planetary formation we have says it should have been vaporized a long time ago. But it survives. How? Well, it's covered in metallic clouds that literally rain metal, reflecting 80% of incoming starlight. It acts as the universe's largest mirror, shielding itself from evaporation. It completely defies every rule we have. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this thought.
Whether it's an impossibly surviving pupfish, an ancient mechanical computer, or a mirrored planet raining metal, reality constantly proves that what should exist and what does exist are two very different things. These true anomalies don't break science. They actually force us to expand our understanding of reality itself. So if the universe continues to break our most fundamental rules, what incredible things will we discover when we finally rewrite them? Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.